Captain Jake Morrison stood at the large window of the Council Station, Nexus Prime. He watched the stars shine in the darkness of space. For 50 years, humans had been part of the Galactic Council. Jake felt proud as he looked at the ships. From many different worlds floating near the station, the council meeting room was huge. Delegates from hundreds of worlds sat in their special seats. Each species looked different. Some had blue skin, others had tentacles, and some looked like giant insects. Jake had seen them all before, but he still found it amazing. "The council will now hear from the Zephyrian delegation," announced the speaker, a tall creature with silver skin and 4 arms. Ambassador Velther rose from his seat. The Zephyrian was tall and thin, with purple skin that seemed to glow. His large black eyes looked around the room. Jake had worked with Velther many times over the years. He thought they were friends. "Fellow council members," Velther began, his voice smooth and calm, "I bring disturbing news about our human friends." Jake felt his stomach tighten. Something was wrong. He looked at Admiral Lisa Carter, who sat beside him. She was a tough woman, with short gray hair and sharp eyes. She had fought in many battles for the council. Her face showed worry. "What news do you bring?" asked the speaker. Velther pressed a button on his desk. A large screen appeared in the air above the council floor. It showed what looked like human ships and stations. Jake recognized some of them, but others looked strange. "Our intelligence forces have discovered that humans are building terrible weapons," Velther said. "These weapons can destroy entire planets. The humans call them planet killers." The council members began to talk loudly. Some looked angry, others looked scared. Jake stood up quickly. "That's not true," he shouted. "We would never build such weapons." "Please sit down, Captain Morrison," the speaker said firmly. "Let the ambassador finish." Jake sat down, but his hands were shaking. He looked at the screen again. The images showed human ships that looked like warships. They were bigger and more dangerous than anything Earth had ever built. "Here are the communications we captured," Velther continued. More images appeared on the screen. They showed messages between human military officers. Jake read them with growing horror. The messages talked about destroying alien worlds and taking over the galaxy. "These are fake," Admiral Carter said, standing up. "Someone made these up. Are they fake?" asked Velther. "Then perhaps the Admiral can explain these research files." New images appeared. They showed detailed plans for massive weapons. The plans had human names on them. Jake saw his own name on one of the documents. He had never seen these plans before. In his life, "I never worked on these projects," Jake said. "Someone is lying about us." The Cathari delegate, a creature that looked like a giant crab, spoke up. "The evidence is clear. Humans cannot be trusted. They have been planning to betray us all along." More delegates began to speak. The Aquarian representative, who looked like a blue fish with legs, said that humans had been asking too many questions about council military secrets. The Orion delegate said that human ships had been seen in restricted areas of space. Jake felt the room turning against them. He looked around at faces that had once been friendly. Now they all looked at him with fear and anger. "We need to vote," said the speaker. "All in favor of expelling humanity from the council?" Hands, tentacles, and claws went up all around the room. Jake counted them with growing panic. Almost every delegate voted yes. All opposed? Only 3 delegates kept their hands down. The rest of the council wanted humans gone. "The motion passes," the speaker announced. "Humanity is expelled from the Galactic Council. A quarantine will be placed on Earth and all human colonies. No human ship may leave their space. No alien ship may enter their space." Jake felt like he had been punched in the stomach. 50 years of friendship and cooperation were gone in minutes. He looked at Admiral Carter. Her face was white with shock. "This is wrong," she whispered. "We've fought beside you. We've saved your lives." "Guards," called the speaker, "arrest the human delegates." Large alien soldiers moved toward Jake and Admiral Carter. Jake recognized them as Titan Guards, the strongest soldiers in the galaxy. Their armor was black and their weapons were huge. "Wait," Jake said. "You can't do this. We have rights." "You have no rights here," Velther said. His voice was cold now. "You are enemies of the galaxy." The guards put heavy chains on Jake's hands and feet. They did the same to Admiral Carter and the other human delegates. Jake looked around the room one more time. He saw faces that had once smiled at him. Now they all looked angry or scared as the guards led him away. Jake heard the speaker announce. Then a blockade fleet would be sent to Earth. The humans would be trapped in their own solar system. They would never be allowed to leave in the hallway. Jake saw Commander Alex Torres being led away by different guards. Alex was a quiet man who worked in intelligence. He caught Jake's eye and nodded slightly. Jake wondered what Alex was thinking. The guards put the human delegates in a prison ship. As they flew away from the station, Jake looked back at Nexus Prime. The huge station was home to thousands of aliens from across the galaxy. It had been humanity's gateway to the stars. Now it was their prison. Jake did not know that Alex Torres had been listening to alien communications for months. Alex had heard the truth about the conspiracy. He knew who was really behind this betrayal. But Alex was also being taken to prison, and he could not warn Earth about what was coming. The ship carrying the human prisoners flew toward a distant prison world. Behind them, the Council began preparing for war against Earth. They were convinced that humans were dangerous monsters who wanted to destroy the galaxy. They had no idea how right they were about to be. 2 years had passed since the Council betrayed humanity. Earth looked very different now. The blue and green planet that had once been peaceful was now covered with military bases and weapon factories. Every human was working to help their world survive. President Karen Davis stood in the command center deep under the White House. She was a tall woman with brown hair that had turned gray from worry. The screens around her showed the alien ships that surrounded Earth. Hundreds of Council warships floated in space, making sure no human could leave. "Report," she said to General Pete Wilson, who stood beside her. "The blockade is still holding." Wilson said. He was an old soldier with scars on his face. "Admiral Zeftal has over 300 ships out there. They're not letting anything through." Karen nodded. She had expected this. The Council was serious about keeping humans trapped. No food came from other worlds, no medicine, no supplies of any kind. Earth was completely alone. "What about our colonies?" she asked. "We lost contact with all of them," Wilson said sadly. "Mars, the moon bases, Europa Station, they're all cut off. We think the Council captured them." Karen felt anger rise in her chest. Those colonies had families, children, innocent people who had done nothing wrong. The Council had taken them prisoner just for being human. Dr. Ryan Bell walked over to them. He was a young man with messy hair and thick glasses. He had been working for days without sleep, trying to find ways to help Earth fight back. "Ma'am," he said, "I have news about the new ships." "Tell me," Karen said. "We're making progress." "The quantum fold drives are working better than we hoped. Our test ship moved from Earth to Mars in 10 minutes. That's faster than any Council ship." Karen felt a small bit of hope. If humans could build faster ships, maybe they could break through. "The blockade. What about weapons?" she asked. "That's harder," Ryan admitted. "We're working on it, but we need more time." Lieutenant Colonel Maria Santos entered the command center. She was a small woman with dark hair and quick movements. She led the special forces that tried to spy on the alien ships. "Ma'am," she said, "we intercepted some Council communications. You need to hear this." She pressed a button on her device. Alien voices filled the room, speaking in their own language. A computer translated the words into English. "The human problem will be solved soon," one voice said. "The final solution is almost ready." "What final solution?" another voice asked. "A genetic weapon. It will make all humans unable to have children. In 1 generation, they will all be gone." Karen felt the blood drain from her face. The Council wasn't just trying to keep humans trapped. They were planning to kill them all. "When?" she asked Maria. "The weapon is being made at a secret base in the Andromeda Nebula. Our sources say we'll be ready in 6 months." Karen looked around the room at her officers. They all looked angry and scared. The Council had lied to them, betrayed them, and now planned to destroy them completely. "There's more," Maria said. "The Council has been hunting down humans in other parts of the galaxy. They're putting them in prison camps or killing them. Captain Morrison and Admiral Carter are being held on a prison world called Torment." Karen had known Jake Morrison since he was a young officer. He was a good man who had always believed in peace. Now he was suffering because aliens were afraid of humanity. "How many humans are still free out there?" she asked. "Maybe a few hundred," Maria said. "Smugglers, traders, people who were far from Council space when this started. But they're being hunted." Karen walked to the big screen that showed Earth. From space. Her planet looked beautiful, but it was surrounded by enemy ships. The Council thought they had won. They thought humans were helpless. They were wrong. "Dr. Bell," she said, "I'm giving you everything you need. All the money, all the scientists, all the resources on Earth. I want ships that can fight the Council. I want weapons that can protect our people." "Yes, ma'am," Ryan said. "General Wilson, I want every human ready to fight. Not just soldiers, everyone. If the Council wants to destroy us, they'll have to work for it." "Understood," Wilson said. "Colonel Santos, I want to know everything about the Council's plans. Use any method you need to. We're fighting for our lives now." Maria nodded. She understood what the President meant. The time for being nice was over. Karen looked at the screen again. The alien ships looked powerful, but she wasn't afraid of them anymore. She was angry. The Council had made a terrible mistake when they betrayed humanity. They had turned friends into enemies. "They think we're monsters," she said quietly. "Maybe it's time to show them what human monsters really look like." In space, Admiral Zeftal sat in his command ship. He was a tall alien with blue skin and gills on his neck. His people, the Aquarians, had been part of the Council for 1,000 years. He had fought many wars for them. "Sir," his second officer said, "we're detecting strange energy readings from Earth." "What kind of readings?" Zeftal asked. "We're not sure." "The humans seem to be building something big." Zeftal looked at the planet below. It looked peaceful from space, but he knew better. The humans were planning something. He could feel it. "Double the patrols," he ordered. "If any human ship tries to leave, destroy it." "Yes, sir." Zeftal had read the reports about humans. They were supposed to be dangerous and violent, but in 2 years of blockade, they had not tried to fight back. Maybe the reports were wrong. Maybe humans were just scared animals hiding. On their world, he would learn how wrong he was very soon. Deep in the mountains of Colorado, Dr. Bell worked in a secret laboratory. Around him, hundreds of human scientists worked on projects that would have amazed the Council. They were building things that had never existed before. The first new human warship was almost ready. It was small and fast, built with technology. That made Council ships look like toys. It could fold space around itself and appear anywhere in seconds. Its weapons could cut through the strongest alien armor, but the ship was just the beginning. The humans were building something much more important, a network of minds that could think and fight as one. They were becoming something new, something the galaxy had never seen before. The Council thought they were destroying humanity. Instead, they were creating their own worst nightmare. In 6 months, the genetic weapon would be ready. But in 6 months, the humans would be ready too. And when they were ready, the galaxy would learn what happened when you betrayed the one species that never forgot a betrayal. The war was coming, and humanity would not lose. The rescue ship moved through space like a shadow. It was painted black and made no sound as it approached the prison world called Torment. Major Ben Hughes sat in the pilot's seat, watching the alien guards through his scanner. Target acquired. He whispered into his radio. I can see the prison complex. Ben was a young man with blonde hair and steady hands. He had volunteered for this dangerous mission because Captain Morrison had saved his life once. Now it was time to return the favor. The ship landed behind a rocky hill. Ben and his team of 12 soldiers moved quickly through the darkness. They wore new armor that made them nearly invisible. The alien guards never saw them coming. Sleep. Tight, Ben whispered as he used a special weapon to knock out the guards. The weapon made no noise and left no marks. The aliens would wake up in a few hours with headaches, but they would be alive. Ben found Captain Morrison in a small, dark cell. Jake looked thin and tired, but his eyes were still sharp. Ben, Jake whispered, how did you find me? Long story, Ben said as he cut the electronic locks. We need to go, now. They found Admiral Carter in the next cell. She looked angry and ready for a fight. About time, she said. I was starting to think you forgot about us. Never, Ben said. We don't leave our people behind. The rescue team moved quickly through the prison. They freed 43 humans who had been captured over the past 2 years. Some were soldiers, others were traders and scientists. All of them were ready to fight. The ship lifted off before the alien guards woke up. As they flew toward Earth, Jake sat next to Ben in the cockpit. Tell me what's happening, Jake said. Ben's face was grim. It's bad, sir. The Council has been hunting humans across the galaxy. They're planning to kill us all with some kind of genetic weapon. Jake felt cold anger in his chest. How long do we have? Maybe 3 months, Ben said. But we're not sitting around waiting to die. When they reached Earth, Jake couldn't believe what he saw. The planet was covered with new buildings and strange machines. Ships that looked like nothing he had ever seen were flying around the solar system. President Davis met them at the landing pad. She looked older and harder than Jake remembered. Welcome home, she said. We have a lot to show you. Dr. Bell took Jake and Admiral Carter to see the new ships. They were sleek and beautiful, with smooth curves and no visible weapons. Where are the guns? Admiral Carter asked. Built into the hull, Ryan explained. The whole ship is a weapon. Watch this. He pressed a button on his control panel. The ship in front of them seemed to fold in half and disappear. It's still there, Ryan said. It just moved into a different layer of space. The Council can't see it or hit it. How fast can it go? Jake asked. From Earth to Alpha Centauri in 15 minutes, Ryan said proudly. The Council's fastest ships take 3 days. Admiral Carter whistled. That's impossible. A lot of things are impossible, Ryan said, until you do them. They showed Jake the new weapons. Energy beams that could cut through any armor. Missiles that could track targets across solar systems. Shields that could stop planet-killer weapons. How did you build all this so fast? Jake asked. We had help, President Davis said. She led them to a room full of computers. Meet Adam. A voice came from the speakers. It sounded human, but Jake knew it wasn't. "Hello, Captain Morrison," the voice said. "I am Adam. I am the first human artificial intelligence." Jake stared at the computers. "You built an AI?" "Not exactly," Ryan said. "We didn't build Adam. We became him. Adam is made from copies of human minds. He thinks like us, but much faster. I can process information from 1,000 sources at once," Adam said. "I can design new ships, plan battles, and coordinate attacks across the galaxy. I am what humanity needs to survive." Jake felt amazed and a little scared. Humans had created something incredible, but also dangerous. "There's more," President Davis said. "Show him the pilots." They went to another room where young men and women sat in strange chairs. Their eyes were closed, but they were moving their hands as if they were flying. "They're connected to our ships," Ryan explained. "Their minds are linked to the ship's computers. They can think and react faster than any alien pilot." One of the pilots opened her eyes. She was a young woman with red hair named Amy Foster. "I can fly 12 ships at once," she said. "Each one moves like it's part of my body. The Council has never seen anything like it." Jake was starting to understand. Humans weren't just building better ships and weapons. They were becoming something new, something that could fight the entire galaxy if they had to. "We tested our new abilities last week," Admiral Carter said. "A Council patrol came too close to Earth. We sent out 3 ships to warn them off." "What happened?" Jake asked. "The patrol had 20 ships," she said. "Big ones, with heavy weapons and thick armor. They thought 3 little human ships would be easy targets. Were they?" Admiral Carter smiled. "The battle lasted 4 minutes. All 20 Council ships were destroyed. We didn't lose a single pilot." Jake felt a chill run down his spine. "How many Council ships are watching Earth now?" 300, President Davis said. "Admiral Zeftal has been building up his fleet. He thinks he can scare us." "Can he?" "No," President Davis said simply. "We're not scared anymore. We're angry." She led Jake to a window where they could look out at Earth. The planet was busy with activity. Millions of humans were working together, building, planning, preparing for war. "The Council made a mistake," she said. "They thought betraying us would make us weak. Instead, it made us strong. They thought isolating us would break us. Instead, it united us." "What's the plan?" Jake asked. "We're going to break their blockade," she said. "Then we're going to find that genetic weapon and destroy it. Then we're going to make sure the Council never hurts innocent people again." Jake nodded. He understood now. The Council had created their own worst enemy. They had turned humanity into something they couldn't control or defeat. "When do we start?" he asked. "Tomorrow," President Davis said. "We've been patient long enough. It's time to show the galaxy what happens when you betray humanity." In space, Admiral Zeftal felt nervous. His sensors were picking up strange energy readings from Earth. The human planet was glowing with power that his instruments couldn't understand. "Sir," his officer said, "should we move the fleet closer?" Zeftal thought about it. The humans had been quiet for 2 years. Maybe they were finally ready to surrender. "No," he said. "Maintain position. If they want to talk, they know where to find us." He had no idea that the humans were already talking. They were talking to each other through Adam, planning and coordinating across the entire solar system. They were talking to the few free humans scattered across the galaxy, telling them to get ready, and they were talking to other species that the Council had oppressed. Species that had been waiting for someone strong enough to stand up to the Council. The war was about to begin, and humanity was ready. The galaxy was about to learn that the most dangerous thing in the universe wasn't a monster or a weapon, that it was a human being who had been betrayed by their friends. The attack began at dawn on Earth. Admiral Carter stood on the bridge of the ESS Retribution, humanity's first true warship. It was twice the size of any council ship, but it moved through space like a hunting cat. "All ships report ready," said Commander Steve Parker, a young officer with dark hair and sharp eyes. He was connected to Adam's network, which meant he could coordinate hundreds of ships at once. "Begin the hunt," Carter ordered. The first target was Admiral Zeftal's flagship. The big alien ship was floating near Mars, confident in its thick armor and powerful weapons. The aliens inside had no idea what was coming. 3 human ships appeared out of nowhere. They had been invisible, hiding in folded space. Captain Amy Foster was piloting the lead ship, her mind connected directly to its weapons and engines. "Target acquired," she said calmly. "Engaging." The human ships moved so fast that the aliens barely had time to react. Beams of pure energy cut through the council ship's armor like it was made of paper. The alien ship's shields flickered and died. "Surrender and prepare to be boarded," Amy said over the radio. Admiral Zeftal stared at his screens in shock. His ship was crippled, and he didn't understand how. The human ships were too fast, too accurate, too powerful. "How is this possible?" he whispered. "Sir," his officer said, "the humans are demanding we surrender." Zeftal looked around his bridge. Half his crew was unconscious, and the other half looked terrified. His ship was dying, and there was nothing he could do about it. "Signal surrender," he said quietly. Across the solar system, the same scene played out again and again. Council. Ships that had seemed invincible were being destroyed or captured in minutes. The humans moved like ghosts, appearing and disappearing. Major Ben Hughes led a boarding party onto Zeftal's ship. The aliens put up no resistance. They had heard what happened to ships that tried to fight back. "Admiral," Ben said to Zeftal, "you're our prisoner now. What do you want with me?" The alien asked. "Information," Ben said. "We want to know everything about the Council's plans, including where they're building that genetic weapon." Zeftal's eyes went wide. "How do you know about that?" "We know lots of things," Ben said. "The question is, are you going to help us or not?" Within 6 hours, the entire Council blockade was gone. 300 ships had been destroyed or captured. Not a single human had been killed. President Davis spoke to the galaxy from the bridge of the Retribution. Her words were broadcast to every world, every space station, every ship in Council space. "People of the galaxy," she said, "for 50 years, humanity served the Council faithfully. We fought your wars, protected your worlds, and called you friends. In return, you betrayed us, imprisoned us, and planned to kill us all." She paused, letting her words sink in. "We are no longer your prisoners. We are free, and we are angry. The Council has committed crimes against humanity and many other species. We will not let these crimes go unpunished." On dozens of worlds, alien leaders watched the broadcast with growing fear. The humans had broken free, and their ships were more advanced than anything the Council had ever seen. "We do not seek conquest," Davis continued. "We seek justice. Any Council ship that attacks human civilians will be destroyed. Any Council leader who supports genocide will be arrested. Any world that helps the Council commit crimes will face the consequences." She looked directly into the camera. "The old galaxy is dying. A new one is being born. You can be part of that new galaxy, or you can be buried with the old one. The choice is yours." Captain Morrison led a strike team to the secret base in the Andromeda Nebula. The base was heavily defended, with hundreds of ships and powerful weapons. But the humans had learned the base's secrets from Admiral Zeftal. "Remember," Jake said to his team, "we need to capture the scientists alive. They're the only ones who know how to reverse the genetic weapon. The human ships appeared around the base like a pack of wolves. The alien defenders tried to fight back, but they were overwhelmed in minutes. Commander Alex Torres led a team of intelligence officers into the base's main laboratory. They found dozens of alien scientists working on terrible weapons designed to kill humans. "Step away from your work," Alex ordered. "You're all under arrest." One of the scientists, a tall creature with 6 arms and green skin, looked angry. "You cannot stop us," he said. "The weapon is almost complete. Soon all humans will be dead." "Wrong," Alex said. "Soon you'll be in prison, along with everyone else who planned this genocide." The humans captured the entire base and all its research. They also found something else, records of other species the Council had tried to destroy. The humans weren't the first people to be betrayed by the Council. Meanwhile, the main human fleet was moving toward the Council's most important military base at Kepler Station. The base was defended by the legendary Cathari dreadnought Inevitable Victory, the most powerful ship in the galaxy. Admiral Carter approached the base with 50 human ships. The Cathari had 200 ships waiting for them. Human fleet came. A message from the Inevitable Victory. "You are outnumbered and outgunned. Surrender now, and we will make your deaths quick." Carter smiled. Counteroffer. "You surrender now, and we'll let you live." The Cathari commander laughed. "You think 50 ships can defeat 200? You humans are even more foolish than we thought." "Let's find out," Carter said. The battle that followed became known as the Kepler Massacre. The human ships moved through the Council fleet like sharks through fish. Their weapons cut through the strongest armor, and their speed made them impossible to hit. Captain Greg Turner commanded one of the human ships. His mind was connected to Adam's network, which meant he could predict his enemies' moves before they made them. 3 Council ships approaching from the left, he said calmly. "Amy, can you take them?" "Already on it," Amy Foster replied. Her ship appeared behind the Council ships and destroyed all 3 with a single shot. The Inevitable Victory tried to fight back, but it was too slow and too clumsy. Commander Lisa Brooks led a squadron of human ships in a coordinated attack. They hit the giant ship from 6 different directions at once. "Impossible," the Cathari commander whispered as his ship began to break apart. "No one can defeat the Inevitable Victory." "Today you learned something new," Carter said over the radio. "There's no such thing as inevitable victory. There's only victory and defeat, and today you lose." The battle was over in 30 minutes. The entire Council fleet was destroyed or captured. The humans had not lost a single ship. News of the victory spread across the galaxy like wildfire. The Council's most powerful fleet had been destroyed by a handful of human ships. Species that had been oppressed for centuries began to hope that freedom was possible. On Earth, President Davis met with representatives from 12 different species. They had all been hurt by the Council in some way. Some had been enslaved, others had been robbed of their resources, and some had been threatened with extinction. "We want to help you," said the representative from the Vegan Alliance, a small species that looked like walking trees. "The Council has been stealing from our worlds for 200 years. We're not looking for allies," Davis said. "We're looking for friends. Real friends who will stand with us when things get hard." "What do you want from us?" asked the Tau Ceti delegate, a small creature with big eyes and blue fur. "Help us build something better," Davis said. "Help us create a galaxy where every species is free and equal, where no one gets betrayed by their friends." The delegates looked at each other. They had dreamed of this day for centuries. "What do we need to do?" asked the vegan. "First," Davis said, "we need to capture the Council's leadership. They're hiding on Nexus Prime, probably planning more genocides. We're going to arrest them and put them on trial. And then we start over. New government, new rules, new hope. The delegates nodded. They were ready to fight alongside humanity. They had seen what humans could do when they were angry. Now they wanted to see what humans could do when they were building something good. The war was almost over, but the real work was just beginning. The galaxy was about to change forever, and humanity was leading the way. On Nexus Prime, the councils. Remaining leaders met in secret. They were scared and desperate. Their fleets were destroyed, their allies were abandoning them, and the humans were coming. "We need to evacuate," said Ambassador Velthur, the alien who had started this whole mess. "The humans will not show us mercy." "Where can we go?" asked the Cathari representative. "The humans have ships everywhere." "We should have never betrayed them," said the Orion delegate. "We should have found another way." "It's too late now," Velthur said. "We must fight to the end." But even as he spoke, he knew the truth. The council had lost. They had awakened something terrible and powerful, and now it was coming for them. The hunt was almost over. The human fleet appeared around Nexus Prime like a storm cloud. President Davis stood on the bridge of the Retribution, looking at the massive space station that had once been humanity's home away from home. Now it was the last stronghold of their enemies. "Scan the station," she ordered Commander Parker. "Reading over 1 million life forms," he reported. "The Council has gathered ships from across the galaxy. They're making their last stand." Davis nodded. She had expected this. The Council's remaining leaders were cornered, and cornered animals were dangerous. "Send them a message," she said. The transmission reached every ship and every room in the station. Davis spoke calmly, but her words carried the weight of humanity's anger. "Council leaders," she said, "this is President Davis of Earth. You have committed crimes against humanity and many other species. You have planned genocide, enslaved innocent people, and betrayed the trust of the galaxy. Surrender now, and you will receive fair trials. Resist, and you will be destroyed." On the station, Ambassador Velthur watched the human ships through the main window. There were thousands of them, sleek and deadly, moving through space like living creatures. "How many ships do they have?" he asked his aide. "Our sensors count over 10,000, the aide replied. "And there are more coming." Velthur felt cold fear in his chest. The humans had been busy during their 2 years of isolation. They had built an entire fleet from nothing. "Sir," the aide continued, "we're receiving surrender offers from many of our ships. They don't want to fight." Velthur wasn't surprised. The humans had proven they could destroy any ship they wanted. Fighting them was suicide. "What about the other council members?" he asked. "Most have already surrendered." "The Cathari are gone." The Aquarians switched sides. "The Orions are asking for mercy." Velthur realized he was alone. The great alliance that had ruled the galaxy for 1,000 years was falling apart in a matter of days. "Sir," came a voice from the communication system, "the humans are demanding to speak with you personally." Velthur straightened his purple robes and walked to the main communication center. On the screen, he saw President Davis looking at him with cold eyes. "Hello, Velthur," she said. "It's been a long time." "President Davis," he replied, trying to sound calm. "I hope we can discuss this situation like civilized beings." "Civilized?" Davis laughed, but there was no humor in it. "You plan to kill my entire species. You put my people in prison camps. You hunted down innocent humans across the galaxy. Don't talk to me about being civilized." Velthur's skin turned a deeper shade of purple. "We did what we thought was necessary for galactic peace." "Peace?" Davis said. "You call genocide peace? You call slavery peace? You call betrayal peace?" "The evidence showed that humans were dangerous," Velthur protested. "We had to protect the galaxy. The evidence was fake, And you know it, Davis said. You made it up because you were afraid of us. Afraid that we were getting too strong, too influential. So you decided to destroy us. Velther said nothing. They both knew she was right. Here's what's going to happen, Davis continued. You're going to surrender unconditionally. You're going to stand trial for your crimes. And you're going to help. You build a better galaxy. And if I refuse? Velther asked. Davis smiled, and Velther felt his blood turn cold. Then we'll take the station by force. Your choice. Captain Morrison led the assault on Nexus Prime. His ship, the ESS Justice, docked with the station's main port. Behind him came hundreds of human soldiers, all wearing the new armor that made them nearly invincible. The alien guards tried to resist, but it was hopeless. Human weapons cut through their defenses like they weren't there. Human soldiers moved faster and fought smarter than anything the Council had ever seen. Secure the command center, Jake ordered Major Hughes. Find Velther and the other leaders. Already on it, Ben replied. His team was moving through the station like a force of nature. Nothing could stop them. Admiral Carter led a different team to the station's communication center. She wanted to broadcast a message to the entire galaxy. People of all worlds, she said into the camera, today marks the end of the Galactic Council's reign of terror. For too long, a small group of species has controlled the galaxy through fear and lies. That ends now. On thousands of worlds, billions of beings watched the broadcast. Many of them had suffered under Council rule for centuries. Others had benefited from it. All of them knew that everything was about to change. We are not here to conquer, Carter continued. We are here to liberate. Every species will have a voice in the new galaxy. Every world will be free to choose its own path. The age of oppression is over. Commander Santos found Velther hiding in his private quarters. The alien ambassador was sitting in a chair, staring out at the human ships that surrounded the station. It's over, Maria said gently. Come with me. Velther looked at her with tired eyes. Why don't you just kill me? It would be easier. Because we're not like you, Maria said. We don't kill our enemies when they surrender. We give them fair trials. And second chances, even after everything we did to you. Especially after everything you did to us, Maria said. Someone has to break the cycle of revenge. It might as well be us. Velther stood up slowly. I don't understand humans, he said. No, Maria said, you don't. That's why you lost. The TRIALS took place on Earth, in a courtroom that was broadcast to the entire galaxy. Velther and the other council leaders sat in the defendant's box, facing charges of genocide, slavery, and crimes against peace. The evidence was overwhelming. Records of their plans, testimony from victims, proof of their lies and betrayals. The galaxy watched as the truth was revealed for the first time in centuries. How do you plead to the charge of planning genocide against humanity? Asked Judge Patricia Moore, a human woman with gray hair and stern eyes. Guilty, Velther said quietly. I am guilty of all charges. The other defendants followed his lead. They knew there was no point in lying anymore. Before I pass sentence, Judge Moore said, do you have anything to say? Velther stood up slowly. I want to say something to the human people, and to all the species we hurt. I am sorry. I know that word means nothing after what we did, but I am truly sorry. We were afraid, and fear made us do terrible things. We turned friends into enemies, and peace into war. We nearly destroyed the galaxy because we couldn't accept that we were no longer the strongest species. He paused, looking directly at President Davis, who sat in the front row. Humans, you had every right to destroy us. You could have wiped out our worlds and enslaved our people. Instead, you gave us trials and the chance to speak. You showed us mercy when we showed you none. I hope someday we can earn the forgiveness we don't deserve." Judge Moore nodded. "The court sentences you to life in prison with the possibility of parole in 50 years. You will spend that time helping to repair the damage you caused." 5 years later, Ambassador Morrison stood on the observation deck of New Nexus Station, the headquarters of the Galactic Federation. Through the window, he could see ships from hundreds of different species working together in peace. "Hard to believe it's only been 5 years," said Admiral Carter, who now served as the Federation's military commander. "Sometimes I think we're dreaming," Jake said. "The galaxy actually working together, species helping each other instead of fighting. It seems too good to be true." "It's real," Carter said. "We made it real." Below them, they could see a mixed crew of humans, aliens, and artificial intelligences working together to repair a damaged ship. The ship belonged to a species that had been enslaved by the Council for 300 years. Now they were free, learning to build their own vessels with human help. "Any word from the prison colonies?" Jake asked. "Velther is actually doing good work," Carter said. "He's helping us locate Council black sites and hidden prisons. Turns out there were thousands of species being held in secret. We've freed most of them. And the others? The Council leaders? Some are cooperating, others aren't. But even the stubborn ones are starting to see that we're serious about building something better." Jake nodded. It hadn't been easy. Some species had resisted the new order, clinging to the old ways of dominance and oppression. But humanity had been patient, showing them that cooperation was better than conquest. "The children are the real success story," Carter said, pointing to a group of young beings playing together in the station's park. "Human kids, alien kids, AI children. They don't see differences the way we do. To them, this is just normal." Jake smiled. That had been the goal from the beginning. Not just to defeat the Council, but to create a galaxy where future generations would never have to fear betrayal or genocide. President Davis, now the first Chancellor of the Galactic Federation, joined them on the observation deck. She looked older but happier than she had during the war. "The anniversary ceremony went well," she said. "Even some of the former Council worlds sent representatives." "Progress," Jake said. "Slow progress," Davis corrected. "But real progress. We're not trying to force anyone to join us. We're just showing them what's possible when species work together instead of against each other." She looked out at the busy space around the station. "You know what the best part is? We don't have to be the galaxy's police anymore. Every species is taking responsibility for their own security and their neighbors' welfare." TH